What up, everybody? Power Book 2 Ghost started off from Season 1 with plenty of returning characters from OG Power. Tariq, Tasha, Tate, Sax, Effie, and Brayden. And throughout the season, there was also returns from 2-Bit, Pause, Cash Grant, and none other than Tommy Egan himself. Season 2 still had the main core of characters minus Tasha, who did show up in the Season 2 finale, as Tariq had Yaz dropped off to where Tasha was staying at in Witsec. And in the final 2 episodes of Season 3, we saw the return of Tasha, Yaz, 2-Bit, and Tommy Egan again. However, Power Book 4 Force has not had the returning cast of OG characters other than Tommy and Liliana in Season 1, who was killed in the finale. And there was also Blanca and Jenny, who made an appearance in the closing seconds of Season 1. For Season 2, Tommy is by himself in Chicago with no OG characters, which obviously does make sense because the fact he is in a completely new city. But we have heard both Julio and Lakeisha Grant mentioned now, and Holly showed up to Tommy in a dream. Some have called it a hallucination, but since his girl was asleep, and I didn't see him pop any LSD, I'm just gonna assume it was a dream and he was actually laying there next to Maria. Getting me to the topic of today's video, will there be any OG characters returning in episode 9 or 10 of Force Season 2? Starting with 2-Bit. A lot of us thought that 2-Bit was going to return to be a main character on Force Season 2, taking the place of Liliana because he was initially listed to be on all 10 episodes of Season 2 on IMBD. But obviously, 2-Bit hasn't been on one episode of Force yet. But if any character does return and makes his Force debut in the final 2 episodes of the season, I would bet on 2-Bit. I do think there will be a returning character at some point because in the promo video before episode 1, Tommy was telling somebody, "It's nice to see you again." Last time Tommy saw 2-Bit, 2-Bit was being arrested at Tommy's warehouse after Dre snitched on them. But Tommy spoke to 2-Bit one more time since then when 2-Bit made the call to Tommy to tell him that Spanky snitched to get out of prison, dropping Poncho's body on Tommy. Spanky was 2-Bit's day one, but like Spanky said about 2-Bit, he's a real G and had to stick to the G code and let Tommy know that Spanky was a rat. Because of that, Tommy squashed whatever beef he had with 2-Bit and told them they were good. 2-Bit later got released from prison by testifying at Tasha St. Patrick's murder trial. But he didn't have to snitch because Davis and Sax were working together to free Tasha and take down Tariq. When 2-Bit got released, we saw him extort money from Tariq and also save Tariq from GTG member Bars when he came to collect. 2-Bit then was not seen again until Ghost Season 3 Episode 9 when he came to extort Tariq with a letter with Tasha's address, and this cost Tariq his Porsche. Keep in mind that 2-Bit knew Tasha was in danger. Is this because 2-Bit had already connected with Tommy and knew that Tommy was about to kill Tasha? And 2-Bit being the opportunist, he found it as an opportunity to extort Tariq out of more money. Because why would Sax send a letter to 2-Bit about Tasha when they never had beef before? And whatever small-time beef 2-Bit had with Ghost, there is no way Sax knew anything about that. Also keep in mind that the Force timeline is approximately 3 to 4 months behind Book 2 Ghost timeline. So the events that happened in Ghost Season 3 have not yet happened on the Force timeline. So with that said, obviously Sax is still alive on the Force timeline. And I'm definitely expecting Sax to make his final appearance in the Power Universe as he comes to Chicago to see for himself if Tommy is alive or not. And I think this is what Sax gave Junior on the flash drive. Evidence that Tommy is still alive. Keep in mind that Chicago tried reaching out to NY initially, but New York was convinced that Tommy was in fact dead. Sachs worked a long time in the Eastern District and probably still has some friends in that office who he hangs out with or has a drink with from time to time, who could have easily told him that Chicago called them asking about Tommy Egan. Getting me to the next possible returning character, Roberto, who was part of Tommy's crew, and he got locked up with Two-Bit and Spanky. But once they got locked up, he was separated from Two-Bit and Spanky, who got transferred when they weren't supposed to so they could kill Dre. We haven't heard anything about Roberto since he got locked up, and there is a chance that he is still locked up. Roberto was a member of the Soldado Nation, and in Season 6 he became their leader after Tommy killed Pancho. Keep in mind that a member of Miguel's crew told Tommy that Julio's cousin from New York said what's up. So Miguel and the Insane Princess were doing homework on Tommy and reached out to New York to get info. The problem with this is the news that Tommy is alive is spreading throughout New York right now. So this could be how either Pancho or Two-Bit finds out that Tommy is still alive. And if they're looking for a plug, they might go see what Tommy has been into. Also keep in mind that the Soldado Nation is a Puerto Rican based gang like the DSDs led by Chavo Cardenas. So there is a chance that the Soldado Nation has ties to the DSDs in some type of way. Getting me to the reason why Tommy left New York in the first place. Because New York wasn't safe for him anymore. This is because he killed Mafia Capo, Benny Savello, and his cousin Joe Proctor, nephews of the Don Carlos Savello. So with the news spreading in New York that Tommy is alive, his enemies could also get word of it and come looking for him in Chicago. So with that said, we could see the return of Carlos, Dolores, or Proctor's daughter, Elisa Marie. When Tommy initially left New York because it wasn't safe for him anymore, he went to California to do business with a man named Rudolfo, who was introduced on Power Season 6. But when Tasha snitched on him, he returned to New York, and this is when we saw Tommy fake his death in Ghost Season 1. It was when he was on his way back to LA after faking his death when he stopped through Chicago and decided to stay. Now keep in mind that Rudolfo was also connected to Jason Mitchell and the Serbs. Since the Serbs are now cut off, Rudolfo might also be cut off. Will Tommy reach back out to Rudolfo now and make him his LA distro? For Season 2 Episode 8, when Stacy Marks showed up at Maria's house telling her about Tommy, she told her to ask Tommy about Lakeisha Grant. Was this an open door for the return of Lakeisha's son, Cash? I've been thinking for a while now, though, that eventually something is going to happen to Cash's dad, Kadeem. Either he gets killed or goes back to prison, and Tommy will take Cash in and raise him. Cash might also already be at the school D-Mac is at, and that could be who Tommy says, "It's nice to see you again," to when he goes back to check on D-Mac. And finally, I can't go without bringing up the person who everyone really wants to return, and that is none other than James St. Patrick, aka Ghost. Joseph Sikora, who plays Tommy, has already hinted Ghost's return and still being alive several times. Since it wasn't episode 5, maybe Ghost will return episode 10 in the final seconds. I can see a situation play out where Tommy is about to get killed and Ghost shows up at the last second and saves Tommy. But it doesn't actually show who saved him. They just show Tommy with a shocked look on his face. And we have to wait until Season 3 to find out who saved Tommy. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.